viewers, and welcome to Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
And this is going to be an interesting experiment of new technology.
We got a new laptop and we got new headphones.
Whoever it was on YouTube who said the humming needed to go away, we're working on it.
We know.
We're working on it. We got new headphones. The problem is they're noise cancellation. So we haven't figured out how to get the sound to work quite right. So if we're doing a lot of what, huh? It's because we're trying to talk to each other without actually hearing it in the headphones.
Right. I can hear me, but I can't hear him.
I can hear both of us.
We'll get there.
And there's an echo. So like a delayed echo. So I have no idea what's going on. Hi. I did do, however, since we talked about it last week with the doing what comics do and go back and renumbering whenever they have a new creator.
Oh.
I did do some math. This is episode 14 of the new iteration with the podcast.
Oh, season 2. Episode 14 of season 2.
It's, yes, we're sure. This is the podcast era, which is doing boomingly well. Thanks for everybody who has been listening to the podcast feed and sharing it with their friends. We know a lot of people that just do podcasts and don't do the YouTube stuff. It's cool if you do both. I would really appreciate it if you did both. But if you just want to share the podcast feed, I get that.
Yeah, it's weird. We like our trailer reactions get really big hits on YouTube, but then the episodes do better on podcast. I listen to podcasts on my drive and at work.
Yeah. I drive a lot for work, so I do a lot of the podcast stuff. In fact, today was a bunch of podcast stuff, including Collider Live, and they had a very interesting conversation about The Hunt, the horror film that's being pulled because the White House feels like it's targeting the elite of the... Yeah, it's a whole different conversation. It was a really good conversation they were having. I just don't want to have it here. Not that I don't want to have the conversation, but that's just not what we've typically been doing around here.
Okay.
So
that's fair.
If it sounds like we're going to be a little off to, I didn't do notes, so I have a couple of articles, and so this might be a free form kind of conversation and see where it goes.
Again, new laptop, no Office installed yet.
And we've been working on the headphones for an hour and 45 minutes. Anyways, one of the things we did do last week was we went and saw Doctor Who on the big screen. We saw the episode called The End of Time, and that's when Tennant regenerated into Matt Smith.
Yep.
And Phantom
Yeah.
Events were the ones that hosted it, and it was the 10th anniversary of that episode. And it was a nationwide event, and it was really cool to kind of see Doctor Who on the big screen.
It was, yeah, definitely different. Everything's bigger, obviously, so you can kind of pay attention to more stuff that, all the background and...
Definitely tell it's like, it's 10-year-old technology at this point in time, and once it got on the big screen, it kind of got grainy at times.
Yeah, it did.
And stuff. But the big thing out of that was there was about a 15-minute interview with him with David Tennant at the end.
Yep.
And he talked about, leaving when he did and why he did, which made it, complete sense. And unlike Capaldi, who was kind of maybe pushed out, David chose to leave when he did. Because he's an artist and he wanted to be challenged. But the big thing in there was there's a 60th anniversary coming up, and there's a history of all the Doctors coming together. So
yeah. And Christopher Eccleston's getting whatever his issue is getting over it. Maybe he started coming to some cons and doing some stuff. So that was what was it, the Day of the Doctor was the 50th.
Day of the Doctor was the 50th.
Yeah. So he wasn't there. So
they tried to get him in.
Yeah, they tried to get him. So it would be cool. Capaldi and Jodie and
yeah. And it's funny too if you go watch Day of the Doctor when they're getting all the different TARDISes from the different time periods to toe Gallifrey.
Yeah.
They like, oh, 12 of the doctors are here. And they said, and somebody said, no, it's 13. And all you see is angry eyes and the brush, the eyebrows.
The
of all
eyebrows,
those-
attack eyebrows.
One of the other things I wanted to talk about too was Captain America #1, the very
comic
first
book?
comic book #1. It's the one where Captain America is punching out Hitler.
Yep.
There was one that went up for auction this last week, and it was 9.4 graded issue of a #1. So it's like the highest rated known Captain America in existence. And it sold for $904,000,
Yeah.
almost $1 million.
Yeah.
Not signed, not anything like that.
Yeah.
But it's a 60-year-old comic.
Right. They couldn't get it signed, right? I mean, the people who created it are dead.
Well, unless they got it signed by accident when they were kids or something. But
yeah.
but
I don't even know if they did that back then.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
But $1 million for a comic. I mean, that's how you can tell where the culture of comics are at right now.
Yeah.
There was that big boom in the 90s that happened, but it was just comics as collectibles was the big boom.
Right.
And then there was a drop off after that. And then when we got this resurgence, it's not the right word, this renaissance.
Renaissance.
Renaissance. I sound so fancy. But with production companies realizing the stories that are actually out there that are awesome to tell within the genre of superheroes and stuff like that has really helped everything else.
Yeah.
And comic book values have gone up, and creators creating stuff like shirts and fan art.
Yeah.
And like look at somebody like Boss Logic, who's been able to make a career and do stuff for Marvel out of his art and stuff. And
Yeah.
so,
It kind of makes you wonder, like, in the future, what, like, maybe some of the graphic novels will take off, or
they kind of are, because of The Boys. The Boys is right now the highest rated or highest viewed Amazon series to date.
But I mean, like, as far as value, right?
Oh, like the books themselves?
Yeah, like what will be the thing in 20 or 30 years that'll be everybody has to have one, or, you know.
I know that a rated, like a 9.7, 9.6, 9.8, that kind of range, Saga #1 was for sale at Ace Comic-Con for like $400. And that was
Saga
is I'll have to show you. It's all kinds of fucked up. It's sci-fi fantasy. There's no real good bad guys, and there's really no bad good guys. and it's very like it's.
Is it new?
It's been out for 5 years or 6 years.
Okay.
I read the first trade paperback, and I have the second one. And I need to go back and reread #1 because everybody says it's amazing, and I read it and I kind of struggled to get through it. And I'm blazing through Umbrella Academy right now.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna have to go back around and read that. Talking about money, there was a story that came out today. HBO Max is gonna spend $1.5 billion on The Office, Friends, Big Bang Theory, 2.5 Men. What else? All the things to have it on their streaming service. $1.5 billion to the rights to 5 of the biggest, 4 or 5 of the biggest shows that ever existed.
Yeah, sure. That doesn't draw me to HBO Max at all. I mean, maybe there's still people out there that like to watch those shows for the 50 millionth time, but it seems like 2.5 Men has been on cable for years. You can pretty much turn on the TV and find it somewhere. Office and Friends have been on Netflix.
Yes, so they left Netflix, and there was a huge internet outcry that they were leaving, and like Robert and Vanessa from Late to the Party have talked about, like, if they're just sitting and editing something, or they want to, or they're gonna veg or whatever, they just put on The Office. And I never got into The Office. I the parts that I've seen are really funny, but it just never really grabbed me. Like Friends did. Like,
Except we say that's what she said all the time.
It's in the lexicon of everything now. So for us, our like background noise thing is like Doctor Who or Buffy or Angel or Firefly or something like that. So I understand the whole concept of putting something on in the background just to have it on and you're watching it for the 17th time.
Yeah.
Sherlock. But
Yes.
Friends and Office and Big Bang Theory were just never those ones that got me. So when they say $1.5 billion to add all these shows and 2.5 men,
crazy.
I just didn't they disown Charlie Sheen? Like, fire him from the show?
Yeah, he left for a while, and I think he came back.
Yeah, my ascot has got an ascot. The new mobile commercial, mobile fuel commercials on the TV behind us.
Yeah.
It got us last night when the guy says, my ascot's got an ascot.
That's how you know you're pimp.
Right. And he's got a great voice. But we were already talking about getting HBO Max for all the other stuff that they're doing.
Yeah, it just, I don't know. It seems so funny to me. Like, do people actually have time to watch The Office for the 50 millionth time? I mean, we struggle to keep up with all the content out there that we, need to or want to watch. We just don't have time to just have something on to have it on anymore, or to watch something for the 50 millionth time. We just we don't really have time to do that. So it's kind of crazy to me. And like Firefly, we own the DVDs. Yes, we still own DVDs.
Physical media person. I'm a physical media person.
And when the zombie apocalypse happens, we will still be able to watch TV.
Well, kinda, because we won't have any power, but
Generator. That's easy.
I'll do the Wade from Ready Player One, where he rides the bike to power up his battery.
Yeah, totally.
I'll do that.
But I mean, if we feel the desire to watch Firefly, we'll go put Firefly in. Or if we want to watch Hunger Games, we'll go put Hunger Games in, or Harry Potter. I don't know. That stuff has no draw for me for HBO Max.
Watchmen is a draw, and some of the other stuff that they have coming.
Some of the original content stuff.
His Darkest Matter with Lin-Manuel Miranda. And
but I think that stuff's coming on HBO.
HBO, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so. HBO Max was going to have some other stuff.
Yeah.
Because we were because it's right now sounding a little pricey, and so we were trying to decide. Now they haven't officially come out with how much it was going to be, but the rumor I think is $16.99 a month, and we already get HBO and Showtime included with our. We use PlayStation View for our cable-esque viewing, and it's included in it. But then we kind of figured out we could get rid of Hulu. Was Hulu the one that was going to be bundled in, or was that Disney that Hulu was going to be bundled in?
Disney was going to do, it was Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus.
ESPN all in one.
All in one.
But we could get rid of...
Like $13 or something like that, or $14 for those 3 channels as a bundle.
Oh,
it was something like that.
Okay. But we could get it, well, yeah. I mean, we're going to have to... Every couple years we have to revisit what we're paying versus what we're watching and kind of make some adjustments. We kind of got
to do that right now because we're getting into football season, and if we can't get Cardinal home games because it's not part of the View package, then why did we have it? Like at that point in time, why did we have it? Because
Right.
like really the reason we picked View for PlayStation is because they had the football package and we could watch all the college football games and all the
Yeah,
NFL
but even
games.
we're going to digress into football, but even last year there were some that were blacked out. We do get Fox Sports,
Right,
Arizona
right.
or whatever, and that's how we get those.
Yeah.
But even last year, remember there was a couple of Sun Devil games and a couple of
Yeah, we get
Cardinal
We
games.
get five, I think, Big Ten network channels, but we can't get the Pac-12
right,
channel to watch ASU games.
right.
And the NFL package deal is all kinds of screwy.
So then we just pay for Hulu Live and
Yeah, I don't.
Fox Sports.
Maybe
I don't know.
Hulu Live is maybe worth it right now. I really like History Channel. I really like Discovery. I really like ESPN and Fox Sports Arizona and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like a lot of the stuff we've been watching lately has been on like Sci-Fi and
Yeah.
FX and AMC, and we don't watch sitcom television anymore.
No, and we don't watch the network TV like ever.
We don't watch the news, so I need BBC America for Top Gear and Doctor Who
Yep.
and Broadchurch and all that kind of stuff. But I don't there's a bunch of stuff on there I don't want to do, and I just want a la carte the channels I want,
Yeah.
and maybe a couple others that maybe I'd be interested in, like Destination America or
Yeah.
TLC or stuff like that. But
Yeah. All right. Well, now that we're done with all of our house buying drama,
yeah. Yeah.
we've closed on our condo. We are currently in the process of getting it rented out. Hence the new equipment. Now we can actually spend some money. So maybe now it's time to start revisiting our TV choices.
Especially since we know we're getting Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And we know that we want to have the sports package stuff, so the ESPN stuff makes sense.
With the Disney, yeah.
With the Disney.
And we already have Hulu.
And we have Hulu. And Amazon Prime we've talked about getting rid of, but then we turn around and we're like, well, Runaways is coming back.
Yeah.
And,
And
oh, by the
we
way,
do prime some shit.
we primed a whole
Primed
bunch
these
of shit.
headphones. He bought them yesterday and they appeared today. It was
Yeah.
wonderful.
And then I spent most of the day trying to not throw them through the window. The only other thing I really wanted to talk about this week was apparently this is the week of getting paid.
Get
Beinoff and Weiss is getting $300 million to make, what was it, six?
Yeah.
Now, it was six
Scripts.
scripts, six, I have the article, three-way bidding war between Netflix, Amazon, and Disney. Talk amongst yourselves for a second. So it's going to be six projects that they are going to help usher in for Netflix.
Right.
Now, that could be scripts, that could be ideas, that could be executive producing, that could be them
Right.
directing, whatever.
Could be a mix
It
and
could be a-
match of all of those.
But the big thing is they are still on to do what everyone on the planet thinks is going to be Old Republic for Star Wars.
Right.
And we already have dates set aside for the next Star Wars movie project, and they've also said that the next big project is going to be Beinoff and Weiss for Star Wars.
Okay.
And so it's in conjunction at the same time. They are not necessarily directing the Star Wars stuff,
Right.
although they did direct the last few episodes of Game of Thrones, or the last episode of Game of Thrones.
Yeah. I think they directed some throughout the whole thing.
Right,
But
right. And this deal is $300 million. And I think that some of that's not like they're writing a check for $150 million a piece and giving it to Beinoff and Weiss and say, here's this. Oh, then we're going to turn around and spend another, whatever, $4 million on all of these projects. I think what it is they're going to give Beinoff and Weiss $300 million and say,
go
go make this.
Okay.
and proceed. That's how I'm taking it. I don't know if that's actually necessarily true.
Right.
But that's
Well,
that was what
$300
makes-
million is a lot of money to pay a couple of directors, writers, whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's, yeah.
unless they're original ideas. I mean, if they're
Still, that seems like a lot of
well,
money.
they're spending what, $300 million on that Lord of the Rings prequel series that's coming to Amazon, or $200 million or whatever.
But
for
is that on the making of it or
They
for
said,
the idea?
They said that the prequel Lord of the Rings series they're spending $200 million on it. So that's $200 million to write it, direct it,
Right.
actors,
That's what I'm
set
saying. They're
designs,
not going
like-
to give them $300 million just to come up with an idea.
Right. I
That's,
see where you're going.
That's
Yeah.
for everything. That's
Yeah.
for making it, we're going to give you $300 million and you're going to produce shows that we
Yeah.
can now put on.
And Netflix is pulling back from like throwing all the money out there. They talked about pulling back a little bit,
Right.
and they lost some money here recently. What was it that they lost money about? It was like they didn't get a contract or something like that, and they lost. The numbers are ridiculous because it's just ridiculous. But
Well,
like,
they've lost Friends and
Yeah,
Office,
that's what it
and
was,
then
that's
they
what it was.
all the Disney stuff, all the
yeah,
Marvel stuff got pulled, and so yeah.
I would really love, I really love that Netflix is making all this cool original stuff that is not really in an umbrella of oversight by the government. Is that the best way to put it? Like they're not restricted by a rating system,
Right.
or advertisers,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
the I almost said Fat Linda, the mom who complains down the street that my son saw a boob and now he's gonna be a serial rapist. Like that.
Right,
Like
yeah.
they're not restricted by that. They can actually. That's one of the reasons that The Boys is doing so well, is because they took the genre of superheroes right now and flipped it on its head.
Yeah.
And they pulled back from the comic on that
Yeah,
one too.
yeah, they didn't even go
but
as far.
like Netflix and what they were able to do with like Stranger Things and The Dark and and what they're doing with like Handmaid's Tale on Hulu
Yep.
and all that kind of stuff. So like I like that they can give creators the outlet to be their fullest creativeness.
Ness.
It makes sense, but they're not restricting them. And
Right.
I've heard interviews with people, creators who've made shows for Netflix and Amazon, and said, and all of them are great partners because they give ideas and hints and stuff like that. But $300 million for two guys that come up with 6 shows,
Yeah.
or 6 things,
Yep.
could be movies.
It's a lot of money.
What-
So we saw a movie.
Oh, shit. All right, we got plenty of time. We went and saw The Kitchen on
Right.
Friday. I totally forgot. This is what happens when you don't make notes. So we went and saw The Kitchen with Melissa McCarthy, Elizabeth Moss, and
Tiffany Haddish.
Tiffany Haddish. It's based on a Vertigo book that 3 women in the Irish, wives of Irish mob guys
In Hell's Kitchen.
in Hell's Kitchen in the 70s, essentially take over because they were tired of getting the short end of the shaft from.
Right. Their husbands go to jail. I mean, all of this is in the preview. So their husbands go to jail and they're left to fend for themselves. And the family doesn't necessarily take the kind of care of them that they
yeah,
were
yeah.
expecting. They, gave them a couple $100 or whatever, and they're like, that's not going to tide us over. 70s, they, I think only one of them worked or whatever. So, yeah. And
Yeah.
then what they do from there on.
So this is a very different comic book kind of movie because it's much more of a thought-provoking kind of movie. It's not a big flashy, superpowers, and it's not a big
Right.
flashy, like big fight scene at the end
Right.
kind of thing.
No.
It's much more of a thinking man's book/show.
Right.
So what did you think?
So we went and saw it on Friday. I've had some time to think about it. I still just feel like it missed. Everybody's performances were amazing.
Right.
Domhnall Gleeson is in it, and as Elizabeth Moss's
Boyfriend,
sure
partner,
love interest,
love
killing
interest is-
partner. And he's amazing, and then all three girls are amazing. It's just I don't know. There was first of all, there was not enough Common. Common needs more in everything he's in, because I think he's amazing in John Wick. He just wasn't in this enough, and like the twists I kind of saw coming. There's two of them specifically that come to mind that I wasn't all that shocked about. And I don't know, it felt like it was lacking. Like, I don't know. It's very hard to explain, but there was just, again, everybody's performances were amazing, but, and I think from the previews, I expected it to be a little more, kind of in your face about them
Right.
kind of taken over, and I thought that was missing.
I liked it a lot, but it was because of the performances and not necessarily for the story itself.
Right. Yeah.
I think there's maybe 45 minutes of this movie sitting around in the cutting room floor somewhere.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple scenes where I feel like there should have been some more dialogue, exposition.
Yeah,
kinda
and there's just like things keep happening that you're like, I don't feel like that's how that would have played out.
More, I think, like, even if it was something as simple as, they did it a little bit, like, March of '78, and then like later on they come around and say, June of '78, and
Right.
like kind of show that there's been a period of time that kind of
Right.
do it
Yeah.
and stuff. So yeah, it was good, not great. I wanted it to be great because the performances were great.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just feel like there should have been more to it than what we got. And it's an August movie. I mean, that was the first thing that kind of told us that it could be,
Yeah.
it's an
Eh,
August
it could
movie.
be Oscar worthy, or it could be they stuck it here because they couldn't figure out where to put it.
Yeah, we're gonna try. We're getting Endgame on Blu-ray finally tomorrow.
Right.
And then we're probably gonna try to go see Peter Bell Falcon.
Yes.
So
Friday, I think.
maybe
Yes.
Friday. Yeah. So we'll
Score.
have to figure that out. I'm 3.5.
Wow, you're
3.5.
generous.
I-
2.5.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't feel so bad about my 3. Performances. It's the performances.
Yeah, the
there's-
performances were pretty much
There,
what
the
did
the
it for
three
me.
ladies and Domhnall is like they all brought it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of unfortunate, like maybe the editing or
Yeah.
or whatever. There was something in there that just didn't live up to everybody else's performance. It happens. It's what happens when you throw a bunch of movies out there at one time. So that is this week's Merlandering. This is our Lost episode that we are going to now figure out what if lost, like we were lost on what we were doing, not like it's gone from the lexicon forever.
We have to go back.
There's no smoke monsters yet. If you're listening to us on the podcast feed, please follow us on the podcast feed of your choice. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. We're working on a Patreon goal, so help us out on Patreon. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, sometimes Twitter, all that kind of stuff. And all that information is in the description down below. And until next time, we think, good night, cult members.